Only the man who is modern in our meaning of the term really lives in the present. He alone has a present-day consciousness, and he alone finds that the ways of life which correspond to earlier levels fall upon him. The values and strivings of those past worlds no longer interest him, save from the historical standpoint. Indeed, he is completely modern only when he has come to the very edge of the world, leaving behind him all that has been discarded and outgrown, and acknowledging that he stands before a void out of which all things may grow. In the twilight of our consciousness, where the shadows of our ancestors loom large and the whispers of our future selves faintly echo, we find the modern man, teetering on the cusp of past and future, yet fully belonging to neither. This precarious positioning gives rise to a profound spiritual dilemma, a quandary that is as elusive as the wind and as tangible as the earth beneath our feet. We are, at this moment in time, faced with a question so vast and profound that it seems to slip through our fingers just as we believe we have grasped it. Carl Jung writes, "The modern man is a newly formed human being. A modern problem is a question which has just arisen and whose answer lies in the future." In speaking, therefore, of the spiritual problem of modern man, we can at most state a question, and we should perhaps put this statement in different terms if we had but the faintest inkling of the answer. The question, moreover, seems rather vague, but the truth is that it has to do with something so universal that it exceeds the grasp of any single human being. The spiritual problem of modern man is not a mere inconvenience to be brushed aside, but a pivotal inquiry that demands our utmost attention and sincerity. This conundrum, deeply embedded in the fabric of our present existence, is not one that can be easily articulated or resolved. It is akin to the mystery of life itself, ever present, yet obscured by the mists of our daily preoccupations and distractions. To engage with this spiritual issue is to embark on a journey into the very heart of our being, to question the foundations upon which we have built our lives, and to dare to envision a future that transcends the limitations of our current understanding. The modern man's consciousness is a unique phenomenon in the history of humanity. It is characterized by an acute awareness of the present, a presence of mind that distinguishes him from his ancestors and sets him apart from the continuum of time. This heightened consciousness is not a mere byproduct of temporal progression, but a distinct state of being, born out of the crucible of our collective experiences and the relentless march of progress. This consciousness, however, is not without its burdens. It carries with it the weight of an unprecedented existential awareness, a keen sense of the transient nature of all things, and a profound feeling of disconnection from the unspoken unity that once bound humanity to the rhythms of nature and the cosmos. The modern man is, in a sense, exiled from the garden of primal belonging, left to wander in the vast desert of rationality and abstraction. Amidst the teeming multitudes of our cities and the interconnected web of our digital realms, the modern individual finds himself ensconced in solitude. This solitude is not merely physical, but existential, a solitary confinement within the vastness of one's own consciousness. It is a byproduct of the unique path of awareness that the modern man treads, a path that leads him away from the collective unconsciousness of his forebears and into a realm of individual differentiation. This journey, though enriching, is fraught with challenges. Each step towards greater consciousness is a step away from the comforting embrace of collective myths and shared delusions. The modern individual, in his quest for authenticity, must therefore confront the spectre of isolation, the price of his liberation from the collective unconscious. Yet, it is within this very solitude that the seeds of a new spiritual understanding are sown, a realization that, though we may walk our paths alone, we are bound by the shared destiny of our humanity. Carl Jung writes, "The man whom we can, with justice, call modern is solitary. He is so of necessity and at all times, for every step towards a fuller consciousness of the present removes him further from his original participation mystique with the mass of men from submersion in a common unconsciousness. Every step forward means an act of tearing himself loose from that all-embracing, pristine unconsciousness that claims the bulk of mankind almost entirely." In this exploration of the modern man's dilemma, we begin to discern the contours of a spiritual crisis that is both deeply personal and universally relevant. The journey ahead is not one of easy answers or quick fixes, but a pilgrimage toward a deeper understanding of our place in the tapestry of existence. In the present epoch, the consciousness of modern man finds itself at the crossroads of an immense evolutionary journey. This consciousness, which has been shaped and honed by centuries of human endeavor, is now tasked with reconciling the vast expanses of knowledge and technological advancement with the innermost depths of the human spirit. The struggle for a present-day consciousness is, at its core, a struggle for integration, a quest to harmonize the external achievements of our civilization with the internal landscapes of our psychic life. This struggle is intensified by the accelerating pace of change and the unprecedented complexity of our global society. The modern man is inundated with a deluge of information, confronted by a world that is increasingly interconnected, yet paradoxically fragmented. The challenge, then, is to forge a consciousness that is both deeply rooted in the here and now and expansively attuned to the timeless dimensions of human experience. Only the man who is modern in our meaning of the term really lives in the present. He alone has a present-day consciousness, and he alone finds that the ways of life which correspond to earlier levels fall upon him. The values and strivings of those past worlds no longer interest him, save from the historical standpoint. Thus he has become unhistorical in the deepest sense, and has estranged himself from the mass of men who live entirely within the bounds of tradition. Indeed, he is completely modern only when he has come to the very edge of the world, leaving behind him all that has been discarded and outgrown, and acknowledging that he stands before a void out of which all things may grow. It is a consciousness that seeks not to escape from the tumult of the present, but to engage with it fully, with eyes wide open to the myriad possibilities and perils that it presents. To comprehend the spiritual problem of modern man, one must delve into the historical context from which it arises. The trajectory of Western civilization has been marked by a gradual but inexorable movement towards rationalization, secularization, and the disenchantment of the world. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason and empirical science, heralded a new age in which the mysteries of existence were to be unraveled through the light of human intellect. Yet this grand project of enlightenment has not been without its shadows. The demystification of the world has led to a sense of alienation and existential disorientation. The gods and spirits that once inhabited the forests, mountains, and rivers have been banished, leaving behind a world stripped of its sacredness. This historical process has culminated in the present spiritual crisis, where the modern man finds himself adrift in a sea of relativism and nihilism, yearning for a sense of meaning and purpose that the materialistic paradigms of the past can no longer provide. The spiritual problem of modern man is not merely an intellectual dilemma, but a psychological predicament. The disenchantment of the world and the fragmentation of consciousness have profound implications for the psyche. The modern individual is often caught in the grip of a profound existential anxiety, a feeling of being lost in a universe that seems indifferent to human concerns. This psychological dimension of modernity is reflected in the rise of neurosis and other mental afflictions that are emblematic of our times. The psyche, in its quest for wholeness, rebels against the one-sidedness of a consciousness that privileges reason over intuition and material success over spiritual fulfillment. The result is a deep-seated sense of disquiet, a malaise that cannot be cured by technological advancement or material wealth. In this context, the struggle for a present-day consciousness becomes a healing journey. It is an endeavor to reclaim the lost dimensions of the psyche, to reintegrate the fragmented parts of our being, and to restore a sense of enchantment to a world that has been disenchanted. Every good quality has its bad side, and nothing that is good can come into the world without directly producing a corresponding evil. This journey requires courage, for it demands that we venture into the uncharted territories of the soul, confronting the darkness within us in order to bring forth the light of a new dawn. In the labyrinth of modern man's psyche, psychology serves as both a torch and a map, illuminating the dark corners and offering guidance through the complex inner landscapes. The emergence of psychology as a key to understanding the modern spiritual problem is no mere coincidence. It is a response to the soul's outcry in an age of disconnection and disenchantment. Psychology, especially in its depth aspects, probes beneath the surface of our conscious lives to explore the rich, often tumultuous world of the unconscious. This exploration is crucial, for it reveals that the spiritual malaise afflicting modern humanity is not a mere byproduct of external circumstances, but a manifestation of deeper psychic undercurrents. Whenever there is established an external form, be it ritual or spiritual, by which all the yearnings and hopes of the soul are adequately expressed, as in some living religion, then we may say that the psyche is outside, and no spiritual problem, strictly speaking, exists. In consonance with this truth, the development of psychology falls entirely within the last decades, although long before that man was introspective and intelligent enough to recognize the facts that are the subject matter of psychology. The insights gleaned from the depths of the psyche offer a new lens through which to view the spiritual problem of our times, suggesting that the crisis is not one of faith in the traditional sense, but rather one of meaning. The modern man's soul thirsts not for dogma, but for a connection to something larger than himself, a narrative that provides purpose and context for his existence in an increasingly complex world. The modern era, with its remarkable technological advancements and material comforts, has brought with it an unprecedented focus on the external aspects of life. Yet, amidst this outward prosperity, a profound inner emptiness lingers a void that material success cannot fill. This realization has precipitated a shift from an external to an internal focus in the search for meaning. More and more, individuals are turning inward, seeking answers not in the accumulation of wealth or the conquest of nature, but in the depths of their own psychic reality. This inward turn represents a significant transformation in the quest for meaning. It is an acknowledgement that the sources of true fulfillment lie not outside us, but within the complex, often paradoxical nature of the human psyche. This journey inward is fraught with challenges, for it requires confronting the shadows, the repressed or neglected aspects of ourselves. Yet, it is precisely through this confrontation that growth and transformation occur. By engaging with our inner lives, we uncover the personal myths and archetypal patterns that shape our experiences, providing a richer, more nuanced understanding of our place in the world. The psychic life of modern man has been profoundly influenced by the encounter with Eastern thought. This meeting of East and West, which initially took place on the intellectual and philosophical planes, has deepened into a significant spiritual and psychological exchange. The spiritual currents of the present have, in fact, a deep affinity with Gnosticism. There is even a Gnostic church in France today, and I know of 2 schools in Germany that openly declare themselves Gnostic. The modern movement that is numerically most impressive is undoubtedly Theosophy, together with its continental sister, Anthroposophy. These are pure Gnosticism in a Hindu dress. Compared with these movements, the interest in scientific psychology is negligible. What is striking about Gnostic systems is that they are based exclusively upon the manifestations of the unconscious, and that their moral teachings do not balk at the shadow side of life. Even in the form of its European revival, the Hindu Kundalini Yoga shows this clearly, and as every person informed on the subject of occultism will testify, the statement holds true in this field as well. Eastern traditions, with their rich contemplative practices and holistic view of the human being, offer valuable insights into the nature of consciousness and the path to inner peace. This influence is evident in the growing interest in meditation, yoga, and other spiritual practices that emphasize the cultivation of mindfulness, compassion, and inner equilibrium. These practices, once considered exotic or peripheral in the West, have now entered the mainstream, reflecting a broader shift towards integrating Eastern wisdom into the fabric of Western spirituality. It is certainly more than an amusing coincidence that a Frenchman, Anquetil du Perron, was living in India and in the early 1800s brought back with him a translation of the Upanishad, a collection of 50 Upanishads which gave the Western world its first deep insight into the baffling mind of the East. To the historian, this is mere chance without any factors of cause and effect. But in view of my medical experience, I cannot take it as an accident. The appeal of Eastern thought lies in its direct approach to the spiritual dimensions of life, an approach that resonates with the modern man's desire for an authentic, experiential spirituality. This synthesis of Eastern and Western perspectives has the potential to forge a new spiritual paradigm, one that honors the complexity of the human psyche while offering practical pathways to transcendence and wholeness. The passionate interest in these movements arises undoubtedly from psychic energy, which can no longer be invested in obsolete forms of religion. For this reason, such movements have a truly religious character, even when they pretend to be scientific. It changes nothing when Rudolf Steiner calls his anthroposophy spiritual science. In this emerging paradigm, the psychic life of modern man is seen not as a problem to be solved, but as a mystery to be lived. a journey of discovery that leads ever deeper into the heart of what it means to be fully human. As the psyche of modern man unfolds in its complexity and depth, the traditional religious structures that once provided sanctuary and solace increasingly appear as relics of a bygone era, ill-suited to the nuanced spiritual needs of contemporary life. How are we to explain this zeal, this almost fanatical worship of repellent things? In this way, the repellent things belong to the psyche. They are of the substance of the psyche, and therefore as precious as fragments of manuscript salvaged from ancient ruins. Even the secret and noisome things of the inner life are valuable to modern man because they serve his purpose. But what purpose? This is not to say that these traditions lack profundity or wisdom. Rather, it is to acknowledge that the mode of engagement they prescribe often fails to resonate with the individuated consciousness of modern individuals. The rites and dogmas developed within the context of communal life in more homogeneous societies struggle to speak to the isolated, introspective soul of the modern seeker who finds himself adrift in a sea of relativism and existential uncertainty. This discord between traditional religious frameworks and the spiritual yearnings of the modern individual has precipitated a crisis of meaning, a vacuum that no technological advancement or material success seems capable of filling. The collective symbols and narratives that once imbued life with purpose and direction have lost their grip on the collective imagination, leaving a void that yearns to be filled with new forms of spiritual understanding and expression. In response to the growing dissonance with traditional religious forms, many turn their gaze inward, exploring the rich tapestry of psychic phenomena and alternative spiritualities that promise a more direct, experiential encounter with the numinous. Here, no doubt, we have the true significance of this spiritual change. After all, what does theosophy, with its doctrines of karma and reincarnation, seek to teach, except that this world of appearance is but a temporary health resort for the morally unperfected? It depreciates the present-day world no less radically than does the modern outlook, but with the help of a different technique, it does not vilify our world, but grants it only a relative meaning in that it promises other and higher worlds. The result is in either case the same. This exploration is marked by a willingness to transcend the boundaries of conventional belief systems, to venture into realms of consciousness that lie beyond the purview of orthodox theology or doctrine. The burgeoning interest in psychic phenomena, such as dreams, visions, synchronicities, and the various manifestations of the unconscious mind, reflects a profound shift in the spiritual quest. It signifies a move towards a spirituality that is deeply personal and rooted in the immediacies of individual experience, rather than mediated through institutionalized forms of worship or belief. This direct engagement with the psychic life opens up new avenues for understanding the sacred, offering insights into the interconnectedness of all existence and the underlying unity of spirit and matter. At the heart of this spiritual ferment is the quest for a genuine experience of the psyche, an encounter with the inner self that is authentic, transformative, and deeply healing. This quest is driven by the intuition that within the depths of the psyche lies the key to resolving the existential dilemmas of the modern era, that by plumbing the depths of our inner worlds, we can uncover the wisdom and insight needed to navigate the complexities of contemporary life. The journey towards such an experience is not without its perils. It requires courage to face the shadows, resilience to withstand the disorienting effects of psychic upheaval, and humility to accept the guidance of the unconscious. Yet, those who embark on this journey are often rewarded with profound revelations about the nature of reality, the interconnectedness of all beings, and the boundless potential for growth and transformation that resides within the human spirit. The psychic depths are nature, and nature is a creative life. It is true that nature tears down what she has herself built up, yet she builds it once again. Whatever values in the visible world are destroyed by modern relativism, the psyche will produce its equivalents. At first, we can't see beyond the path that leads downward to dark and hateful things, but no light or beauty will ever come from the man who can't bear this sight. Light is always born of darkness, and the sun never yet stood still in heaven to satisfy man's longing or to still his fears. In this quest for a genuine experience of the psyche, the crisis of tradition becomes not an endpoint, but a departure point for a deeper, more encompassing understanding of spirituality. It is a journey that leads not away from the sacred, but towards a reimagining of the sacred in terms that are inclusive, holistic, and deeply attuned to the needs of the modern soul. Through this reimagining, the spiritual problem of modern man is transformed from a crisis of meaning into an opportunity for profound renewal and awakening. In the evolving narrative of the modern era, a profound fascination with the unconscious marks a pivotal chapter in our collective quest for understanding. This fascination, far from being a mere curiosity, signifies a deep-seated recognition of the unconscious as a reservoir of wisdom and insight, a wellspring of creativity and intuition that lies at the heart of human experience. The exploration of the unconscious through dreams, symbols, and the language of the psyche opens up new vistas for spirituality, revealing dimensions of existence that are invisible to the eye, yet palpable to the soul. The implications of this fascination for modern spirituality are profound. As we delve into the mysteries of the unconscious, we encounter a spirituality that is fluid and dynamic, one that transcends rigid dogmas and embraces the paradoxes of human existence. This spirituality is rooted in the lived experience of the individual, grounded in the immediacies of psychic life. It acknowledges the shadow as well as the light, recognizing that spiritual growth involves the integration of all aspects of our being. The trajectory of material progress in the modern world, with its remarkable advancements in science and technology, has brought untold benefits to humanity. Yet this march towards material prosperity has often been accompanied by a neglect of the psychic dimensions of life, leading to a disjunction between external success and inner fulfillment. The dazzling allure of material progress can eclipse the subtle, nuanced realities of the psyche, leaving individuals feeling disconnected and adrift in a world of abundance. This clash between material progress and psychic development represents a critical challenge for the modern individual. It raises fundamental questions about the nature of fulfillment, the sources of happiness, and the true ends of human existence. In the relentless pursuit of material success, the vital needs of the psyche can be overlooked, leading to a sense of emptiness and disillusionment. The task, then, is to find a balance between these two dimensions of life, to weave together the threads of material prosperity and psychic well-being into a tapestry that reflects the fullness of human potential. Amidst the tensions and contradictions of modern life, there lies the potential for a new spiritual epoch in the Western world. This emerging epoch is characterized by a holistic vision of spirituality, one that integrates the insights of psychology with the wisdom of traditional spiritual paths. It is an epoch that values personal experience as a source of spiritual authority, recognizing the sacredness of the inner journey and the transformative power of self-awareness. In this new spiritual epoch, the psyche is no longer seen as a mere adjunct to material existence, but as the very ground of our being, the source from which all creativity and insight flow. Spirituality becomes an exploration of the inner landscape, a quest for meaning that is as concerned with the depths of the unconscious as it is with the mysteries of the cosmos. It is a spirituality that is adaptable and inclusive, open to the diverse expressions of the human spirit. The potential for this new spiritual epoch lies in our collective willingness to embrace the complexities of the psyche, to engage with the unconscious as a vital partner in the quest for understanding. It requires a shift in perspective, a reorientation of values that places psychic development on par with material achievement. As we navigate the challenges and opportunities of this transition, we stand on the threshold of a profound spiritual renewal, a reawakening to the depths of our own being and the interconnectedness of all life. In this renewal, the relevance of the psyche in modern times is affirmed, heralding a future where spirituality is not an escape from the world, but a deeper engagement with it, in all its richness and complexity. The encounter between Eastern spirituality and the Western psyche marks a significant moment in the history of human consciousness. This cross-cultural exchange has enriched the Western understanding of the mind and spirit, introducing concepts and practices that offer a profound challenge to the materialistic and dualistic paradigms that have long dominated Western thought. Eastern traditions, with their emphasis on the unity of all existence, the illusion of the ego, and the practice of mindfulness, present a radically different perspective on life and reality. The impact of these ideas on the Western psyche has been both deep and wide-ranging. Meditation, yoga, and mindfulness have become part of the mainstream cultural lexicon, reflecting a growing appetite for spiritual practices that nurture inner peace and awareness. The force within us that impels us to the search, turning outward, annexes Eastern theosophy and magic, but it also turns inward and leads us to give our thoughtful attention to the unconscious psyche. It inspires in us the self-same skepticism and relentlessness with which a Buddha swept aside his 2 million gods, that he might come to the pristine experience which alone is convincing. The Eastern focus on direct experience and personal realization resonates with the modern Western seeker's desire for authenticity and immediacy in spiritual matters. This confluence of Eastern and Western thought offers a promising avenue for addressing the existential vacuum felt by many in the modern world, providing tools and insights for navigating the complexities of contemporary life. The modern era, with its unparalleled challenges and opportunities, compels a confrontation with the psyche as never before. This confrontation is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a vital engagement with the deepest aspects of our being. It is through this engagement that we can begin to understand the spiritual needs of modern man, needs that are often obscured by the frenetic pace of contemporary life. This path of confrontation and understanding requires a willingness to delve into the unconscious, to face the fears, desires, and archetypes that reside there. It is a journey that can be unsettling, as it challenges the ego's dominance and exposes the limitations of rational thought. Yet it is precisely through this process of confrontation and integration that true healing and growth occur. By embracing the totality of our psychic existence, we open ourselves to new insights and possibilities, fostering a spirituality that is deeply rooted in the reality of our experience. The prospect of a spiritual awakening in the modern context is fraught with both possibilities and dangers. On one hand, there is the potential for a profound transformation of consciousness, a shift towards a more integrated, compassionate, and holistic view of life. Such an awakening could herald a new era of understanding and cooperation, bridging the divides that separate us and fostering a deeper sense of connection to the earth and to each other. On the other hand, the path to awakening is not without its pitfalls. The allure of spiritual bypassing, where spiritual practices are used to avoid confronting psychological wounds and societal issues, poses a significant risk. Furthermore, the commodification of spirituality, where sacred practices are stripped of their depth and reduced to consumer products, threatens to undermine the authenticity of the spiritual search. Navigating these possibilities and dangers requires discernment, humility, and a commitment to genuine growth. It calls for a spirituality that is grounded in the messiness of human life, that acknowledges the interplay between light and shadow, and that seeks to transform not only the individual, but also the wider world. As we stand at this critical juncture, the choices we make will shape the future of spirituality in the modern age, determining whether we move towards fragmentation or wholeness, isolation or interconnectedness, despair or hope. As we navigate the complexities of the modern world, the essential role of psychic life in shaping the modern spiritual landscape becomes increasingly apparent. The inner dimensions of the human experience, once relegated to the margins of Western thought, are now recognized as central to our quest for meaning and purpose. This shift reflects a broader transformation in our collective understanding of the spirit, one that embraces the depth and diversity of psychic life as foundational to the human condition. The resurgence of interest in the psyche's depths underscores a profound change in how we conceive of spirituality. No longer confined to the doctrines and rituals of traditional religions, spirituality has become a quest for personal authenticity, a journey into the self that recognizes the interconnectedness of all life. The psyche, with its dreams, symbols, and archetypes, offers a rich terrain for exploration, providing insights into the universal themes that bind us together. This inward turn does not negate the value of external religious forms, but enriches and complements them, inviting a dialogue between the inner and outer aspects of our spiritual lives. Integrating the insights of psychic life with the demands of modern existence presents both challenges and opportunities. On the one hand, the pace and pressure of contemporary life can make it difficult to cultivate the stillness and attentiveness required for deep psychological work. The risk of superficial engagement with spiritual practices, driven by the desire for quick solutions to complex problems, looms large. On the other hand, the current era offers unprecedented opportunities for accessing and sharing knowledge about the psyche. The wealth of psychological and spiritual resources now available, from ancient texts to modern psychotherapeutic techniques, provides a diverse toolkit for personal and collective transformation. The challenge, then, is to approach these resources with discernment, weaving them into the fabric of our lives in ways that are meaningful and sustainable. As we look to the future, The direction of spiritual development in the context of modernity appears both promising and uncertain. The growing recognition of the psyche's significance opens the possibility for a more integrated approach to spirituality, one that honors the complexity of human experience and fosters resilience in the face of change. This emerging spirituality is not a retreat from the world, but an engagement with it, informed by a deep understanding of the interdependence of all life. Yet, this vision is not guaranteed. The forces of materialism, division, and ecological disregard present formidable obstacles to the realization of a more holistic and interconnected spiritual ethos. The task before us, then, is to cultivate a spirituality that is robust enough to navigate these challenges, flexible enough to adapt to new discoveries and insights, and inclusive enough to embrace the diversity of human experience. In this endeavor, the psyche stands as both our greatest challenge and our most potent ally. By deepening our understanding of the inner world, we can forge new pathways to spiritual fulfillment that are responsive to the needs of the modern soul. In doing so, we may find that the future of spirituality is not a destination to be reached, but a journey to be lived, marked by an ever-deepening awareness of the mystery and wonder of existence.